The Schumer strategy. Well, here's the deal. There are two levels at which Republicans can filibuster legislation in the Senate. You might have noticed that there have been a bunch of pieces of legislation that have been sent to the Senate from the House, including Build Back Better, for which there has never been a debate in the Senate. We, as the American people, have not had an opportunity to see Democrats stand up and say, here's why we think that seniors should get eyeglasses and vision and, hearing and vision and dental work as part of Medicare. And then hear Republicans stand up and say, here's why we think seniors shouldn't be allowed to have that. We have literally not heard that debate. We have not heard a debate where Democrats are standing up and saying this is why we need to expand Medicaid. This is why we need to be building out our infrastructure. This is why we need to be bringing high-speed broadband to communities across the country. This is et cetera. I mean, just goes. We literally have never heard that debate because Republicans filibuster the debate itself before they even get to filibustering a vote on the legislation. Because there's, it's a two-step process. First, you introduce the legislation, and then you debate it, and then after the debate, you vote on it. Well, the Republicans have been filibustering the debates. Now, the one way around this, and it's written into the Senate rule. This all has to do with weird Senate rules, right, which are all amendable, but this is the existing Senate rules right now. And one of the Senate rules that has to do with the filibuster is that when a piece of legislation goes from the House to the Senate, and then the Senate makes changes in it and sends it back to the House, and then the House makes more changes in it and sends it back to the Senate, and then the Senate makes even more changes in it and sends it back to the House, and then the House makes final changes to it and sends it back to the Senate, and the Senate, at that point, when a piece of legislation has gone back and forth 3 times, you cannot filibuster the debate. You can still filibuster the vote on it, but you can't filibuster the debate. So the House comes up with the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. They send it to the Senate. Senators, Democratic senators are tweaking, have made some tweaks to this legislation, and they're suggesting let's combine it into one bill, and they're sending it back to the House. Now that it's back in the House, it's going to be integrated into one piece of legislation, and my hope is, by the way, that it includes a change to the Electoral Count Act so that we can take that off the board, because that's going to be the old, we're going to, well, you've heard my rant before on this. I really think they're going to use the Electoral Count Act as the equivalent of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Oh, we'll pass this little piece of legislation, the Electoral Count Act. We'll fix the Electoral Count Act of 1887, I think it is. We will fix this piece of legislation, and that is going to be our election fixes for the year. And they'll never get around to barring, voter suppression and stopping, closing down polling places in black neighborhoods and replacing nonpartisan voting officials with Republican operatives and they're just all this stuff. So anyhow, the House then is going to send it back to the Senate if they haven't done it already. I think they're going to be doing it this week. And the Senate then, and this may happen today, it may happen tomorrow, it may happen this weekend, because Chuck Schumer has promised a vote on this bill by Monday. Monday is Martin Luther King Day. The Senate then, Chuck Schumer's going to put it on the floor and say, okay, we're going to have a debate. And the Republicans are going to say, no, we filibuster this. And Schumer's going to say, no, you can't filibuster it. This is the 3rd cycle between the House and Senate. So we are going to have a debate. So Democrats are going to talk about the importance of voting rights, and Republicans are going to have an opportunity to stand up and defend their position that it should be harder for people to vote. Particularly black people, particularly poor people, particularly rural people, particularly people who are over 65 who might be concerned about Medicare, particularly people who are going to college. Let's make it harder for them to vote. Republicans are going to have to justify that position. And it's going to get real interesting.